Hi everybody, and welcome to the first episode. I'm gonna start. Yeah. Hi everybody, and welcome to the first episode of Cooking and Cosplay. My name's Carissa, and I'm a Cancer, and this is Ems.
Hi, I'm not a Cancer.
She's not a Cancer. So today we're not in cosplay, but this is more of a test video. I know we've all been quarantining, and something that I think is a very universal pastime is Animal Crossing. And I just thought, you know, a big part of this channel is going to be about cooking. And Animal Crossing, my villagers, they get me. So today I'm going to be cooking every recipe that my Animal Crossing villagers have told me about. And we're going to start off with making some raisin bread, and it's what my girl Coco told me about. Wikipedia let me know about a Russian raisin bread called Kulich, which I'm probably pronouncing wrong, and I'm really sorry if I am, or it's also known as Paska, which is an Easter Russian raisin bread. And I was like, yeah, I think I'm going to make that. So that's what we're going to do today. First thing that you're going to need is a bowl.
Spill the salt.
I'm going to link the recipes all in the description below. You're going to start by adding 6 cups of flour. Alright, now we're going to take our handy dandy induction burner, and if you don't have a handy dandy induction burner, just use your stove. I mean, or don't. I don't know. I'm going to tell you how to live your life. We're going to take about a stick and like a quarter of another stick of butter. We're going to take 3/4 of a cup of milk. We're going to dump them right into the pot with the butter.
What?
Never mind. I think it's just the melted butter.
Yeah, it is.
Sometimes, you know, you're afraid that the milk's curdled. And usually I like the texture of the chunks, but not today. Then we're going to take some honey. Thank you. It's so cool. It just slid over here on its own free will.
That's what happens when you film in a haunted house.
That's right. Then we're going to dump in this 1/4 cup of sugar and some. I was like, oh, she's okay. She's boiling a little bit. We're simmering. It's not like boil.
Right. It's just a respectful simmer.
It's just a respectful simmer.
No need to panic.
So once the butter has fully dissolved, we can take it off the heat. And we're just gonna set it off to the side so it can cool down. Gonna very carefully move our induction burner that is now cooling.
Once it's off camera, I will be putting my hand on it.
That's true. No, I've called an ambulance for Em's hands. They're burnt.
Actually, they're fine. It was a trick.
You know how I feel about being tricked. It hurts my feelings. Anyway, so that's like cracked 3 different eggs. Yeah, so we're gonna take these eggs that we have in this bowl.
Just throw them in.
Alright, take your little guys, and you gotta crack them. And you just, yeah, you just bash them right in.
And do back here, shy.
Oh, okay. You did a really good job. You split his face right in half. Then we're gonna take this very tiny whisk and use it to whisk the eggs. Cause get it? It's a knife whisk.
That's pretty.
Yeah. So it's just gonna stick there. Alright, so then our eggs are whisked. We've got our flour. We're gonna make a tiny little well in the center. And by tiny, I mean moderately sized, because there's a lot. We've got some of our wet ingredients, and then the last thing that we have is yeast that we've had activating in warm water. And we're gonna dump that in there as well. And then for the raisin part of it, we put, it looks disgusting, but we did put some dry raisins into, is there such thing as wet raisins? That didn't make any sense. We put them back into water so that way they get like some of their juiciness back. Some hot water. So we're just gonna slowly incorporate all of these things. If you want to add, you can add the yeast if you want.
Sure.
And then I'm gonna dump just like a little bit of the eggs in. And then I'm gonna dump some of this mixture in. You might not use all of this. I don't know. The last few times I made it, I didn't end up using it all, but we'll see how it goes. yeah, just start incorporating it, and then we'll keep adding more liquid as we go. Looking really good, truly.
What about the mixture?
Oh. So I'm gonna take these raisins that we have and I'm gonna drain the water off of them.
So basically at this point, we just keep slowly adding in our wet mixtures into the dry mixtures until it's nice and evenly incorporated to make a pretty sticky dough.
So we've got the dough on our floured surface, so now we're just going to knead this bad boy for like 10 minutes. Until it's, yep, I know. That's how I feel. And I'm not very strong, so like kneading dough just feels like a workout. And it's no way. Oh, I feel like I need slightly more flour. Thank you, strange man that lives in the basement. Oh, that's nice.
Can I just get it off my hands?
Oh, yeah. Alright, I'm about at that point.
Do you want me to take over?
Yeah, if you want to.
Tendinitis, come back to me.
Oh god. When you knead dough, you smell even better.
Like my pheromones, or like I smell like the dough?
They're pheromones. So now it's been 10 minutes of kneading. Now we're gonna put this in a bowl, and it has to rise for 3 hours. 3 hours. We're gonna put this in a bowl, gonna cover it in a little bit of oil, and then while we wait for it to rise, we're gonna start making yakisoba. Thanks, Eric. As you can see, we've got a lot going on. We've got this bowl, we've got M's, we've got a pasta roller. We're gonna make our own ramen noodles. So first thing we're gonna do is we're going to take a cup of bread flour, and then the next thing we're gonna add to the bread flour is baked baking soda. We put this in the oven for about an hour at 240 degrees. So we're going to basically make alkaline water out of this. You're going to take 2 tablespoons of this and put it into 4 ounces and 2 tablespoons of water so we can make alkaline water. So once the baking soda is in the water, you're just going to want to stir it and let it dissolve completely. Whenever you're stirring it, just don't stir it really fast because it is a mild skin irritant, so if you get it on yourself, you might want to wash it off. Are you okay? Do you feel good?
Well, I feel better.
Okay, that's good enough for me. So then we just have to dump the alkaline water into our, just dump the alkaline water into the bread flour, just little bits at a time. We probably won't end up using all of, maybe a little bit more, like a little bit more.
Shall I add a little bit more, princess?
It would have been different if you called me princess and like princess, but that was the most condescending princess I've ever gotten in my life. Nobody calls me princess.
I was trying to make it seem like you were my little princess.
Oh, I see.
Like you were my...
It just came off so weird. Okay, we're gonna add a little bit more.
Oh man, I hate what I've become.
What I've become. We want like a shaggy kind of dough.
Anyway, shall I add some more, princess?
Somehow it's getting worse.
Princess,
yeah, I can do it.
my little princess.
My little princess. Sweet. Now that it's here, you can do this. I'm sorry.
Why? I stirred it.
Sorry.
You gotta have a turn.
You gotta do something. Is that what you're about to say?
Yeah, you gotta do something, princess. I hate myself.
Every time you say it, I like die a little bit inside. But don't hate yourself. Alright, dough's done. We're gonna throw this bad boy in some cling wrap and we're gonna let him rest for 30 minutes.
Then we're going to chop up carrot, onion, cabbage, and pork belly.
Alright, so our dough has been sitting for 30 minutes, and now we need to put some lamations in it. I know what you're thinking. How can this even be a cooking channel and you don't even have a rolling pin? Well, here's the deal. I thought there was a rolling pin, so I didn't feel the need to buy one. And then I found out that there actually wasn't a rolling pin. So once that's all nice and rolled out, we're going to fold this once, twice, and then 3 times. While we're waiting for the dough to rest for a second time, we're gonna go ahead and fry up the pork belly and the vegetables. So just gonna add a tiny, tiny, tiny bit of oil to this cast iron, very small. We're going to create the yakisoba sauce, so it's going to be some ketchup, some Worcestershire sauce, some oyster sauce, white pepper, honey that you can't really see, but you can see the glisten, and lastly, just some soy sauce. Then we're gonna bring this guy back.
At this point, I'm just adding some of the onion and carrot in with the pork belly so that it can start cooking down until the onion is translucent, and then we'll add in the cabbage. Then I'm rolling out the laminations and the dough to put in one more set before putting it in my pasta roller on the wider setting first, and then gradually putting it on the second smallest setting. And you'll probably just want to run it through about 2 to 3 times just to get the dough nice and flattened out. It's going to be really important to keep your dough nice and floured, otherwise it will stick in your pasta roller and then you'll be stuck tearing apart small individual noodles from one another. Trust me, I learned it the hard way. Now I'm adding in the cabbage with the carrot and onion and pork belly so that it can start cooking down. Then we're boiling the noodles for no more than 2 minutes and rinsing them with cold water to stop the cooking process. Afterwards, we'll add in a little bit of oil. That way the noodles don't all just stick to each other. Once the noodles have cooled, you can add them in with your vegetables and pork belly along with the yakisoba sauce, and then you'll just want to cook it until it starts getting a little bit crispy on the bottom. Lastly, I'm just cutting up a little bit of green onion for garnish, so that way we can add it at the end so our yakisoba looks nice and pretty.
Alright, so that's our first dish, and it's courtesy of Eric. So thanks, Eric. And we have our yakisoba. So now we've cleaned up the kitchen a little bit because it was a mess. And now we are going to check on our bread because it's been 3 hours. And we're gonna separate it and put it into these cool little cans that we're gonna bake them in. You wanna make sure that you don't just use any old can because some of them could be poisonous to you if you put them in the oven.
Hell yeah.
Alright, so we're gonna divide this out to put into our little cans and let it rise for another hour. And then after that point we can finally bake it. This bread is very labor intensive. If you don't have a full 4 hours of your day to devote to this bread, well, good news, you can put it in the fridge and work on it again the next day. All that work I did to make it into a nice little ball was for nothing. This is the only small can that I have, and it shows. You know what, I think that was good. So we're going to be making apple crisp shortbread. Now, Bo did mention apple cobbler, but according to Google, when you look up apple crisp or apple cobbler or apple crumble, they're all the same. So I really like this recipe. I've made it a few times, so this is the one I was gonna go with. I don't or didn't see anything that like really differentiated them. And hopefully you can leave your hate comments below if that's not true.
Please.
Yeah, so we're making an apple crisp shortbread. So we're going to cream this half stick of butter that's at room temperature until it gets like white instead of yellow. We're gonna take this really old hand mixer and hope that it doesn't break. to use it to cream the butter. Slowly add in 1 cup of flour. We'll add in vanilla, whoa, splashed. 1 cup of sugar, 1/4 of a teaspoon of salt. And we'll cream all of these together. So, dough's all done. And now we just need to roll it out onto a floured surface and get it ready to bake for a little bit while we get the apples ready. It's so soft. Feel it.
That's comforting.
Right, isn't it nice? It's kind of like, it's like kinetic sand. It was good for me too. Alright, so we're going to get the handy dandy can of green beans so we can roll this out, and we're going to put it in our very small 8x8 baking dish. So rolling this out, we got the oven preheated for 300 degrees, and then we're going to pop this bad boy in there to cook for 15 minutes. So rolling out the dough doesn't work. Don't do it. Just do what the instructions say, and that's to just press it in to your baking dish. Now we're going to put it in the oven for 15 minutes. Great. So now we need to get the apples prepared. So we're going to take 4. I think it's going to be too many, so we'll probably end up using 3. And we're going to peel them and slice them, and then cover them in some flour, nutmeg, cinnamon, and some sugar.
Look how much I got.
What? I'm gonna start throwing apple slices into this bowl.
Me too.
Alright.
I will never not feel like a grandmother when I'm peeling an apple.
Yeah.
The only thing missing is a rocking chair.
Would you sit in your rocking chair while you peeled?
I would stand on it.
Okay. I think I'd hang mine from the ceiling. And then when people walked into my house, I would just go like, so once you got them all sliced up, you can throw these right in the trash, and then we're going to take these guys and we're going to cover them in brown sugar, and, not brown sugar, cinnamon sugar and flour and nutmeg. I'm going to take flour and pour it over the top of them, some sugar, and then we put the nutmeg and cinnamon into the same bowl. And I'm going to throw that on top. And then we're just going to mix it all up. So while the shortbread base continues to bake, we are going to start making the topping, the crumble that's going to go on top. We're going to take some brown sugar, some flour, and a 1/4 of a cup, or 1/4 of a, whatever, a 1/2 of a stick of butter. And we're gonna just kind of like cut this and knead it all together. Alright, so our crumble is all made up, so we're gonna take our shortbread base out of the oven and let it cool for a little bit. And then we will continue on with our crumble. But first, we're gonna check on our raisin bread, which has been rising for an hour, and it is ready to go in the oven. Before we put the raisin bread in the oven, we're gonna give them a little egg wash. So we have our little egg guy right here, and we're gonna break him apart so we can put an egg wash on our bread. No, no.
Convince me not to.
Don't. If you do that, I'm gonna cry. So we're going to put the raisin bread into the oven now. I'm just gonna put it on a baking sheet so that it's a little bit easier to handle. So we're gonna wait for the raisin bread for about 25 minutes. And then at that time, they've got to cool completely, and then we're gonna put a lemon glaze on them. Okay, so for the lemon glaze, we'll take a cup of powdered sugar. Oh my god. About, I don't know, like a tablespoon. Gonna take 2 tablespoons of milk. And then we're just gonna mix this around until it all dissolves. If it's too watery, just add a little bit more powdered sugar, because we kind of want it to be like a Elmer's glue-like consistency.
Yeah. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah, it's okay. It's like orange glue.
Yeah.
Alright, so we got our shortbread here. It's still a little bit warm, but we're gonna, no. So our shortbread's been cooling for a while. So we're just gonna start making layers of apples and our topping, and we're just gonna alternate until we can't alternate anymore. Alright, everything's all layered up, so now we can put it into the oven for 30 minutes, and we're going to take our bread out. Alright, we took the bread out of the cans already, and it was a little bit difficult. I feel like if you grease them really well, it shouldn't have much of a problem. But we got them, and they look pretty decent, I'd say. We only had like a couple of blips, so now we're going to put the lemon glaze on them, and we don't have any cute toppings, but usually they get like sprinkles or something like that put on them. But we're just gonna put the glaze. Alright, so the shortbread apple crisp has been refrigerating for 2 hours, and this is it. Every recipe that my Animal Crossing villagers have told me about. So shout out to Eric, Coco, and Bo. We love you. Stay on beef forever. Thanks for offering me your recipes, and hopefully more of my villagers offer me more recipes. Also, thank you, Adams, for helping me. It was really nice.
Thanks for having me here.
So yeah, thanks for sitting through. If you sat through the whole video, this is my first test video, so hopefully in the future they'll be better. So yeah, see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.